Hello, welcome to another Daily Digest video. I'm Merriam today. I'm playing Black-Green Infect, a variant on the archetype that really tries to take advantage of Phyrexian Crusader. And as a result, this is a version of the deck that tends to pop up in metagames where Phyrexian Crusader is quite well positioned. We've seen it pop up a couple times over the years now. And with Jeskai being as popular as it is, along with humans being quite popular, a deck that has plenty of red and white creatures that Crusader can block or attack effectively through, I definitely think the card is well positioned. So we'll see how it goes. The other major change is Thoughtseize over some of the blue disruption, mostly counter spells, which has some benefits and some others. I like the information from seeing their hand. This will be a little bit better against combo decks, which helps in a variant of the Infect archetype that's a little bit slower, and hopefully they're good here because I have two of them. This is definitely a keep. We'll be able to proactively protect our Crusader, and then hopefully it's a matchup where Crusader is good and we just mess them up. So keep this one. Our life total is going to be stressed a bit. We'll probably go turn 1 Thoughtseize, turn 2 Thoughtseize, crack Misty for the second tomb, but we're still going to be dealing ourselves 7, and that's before any mutagenic growths. So we'll watch out for that a bit. Kind of with a hand like this, I just hope my opponent's playing Jeskai. I can. Oh, geez. Okay. Well, the good news is they don't have any way to cast their powerful 2-drops immediately. So hopefully I get another turn to be able to Thoughtseize that Steel Overseer. But Past Ornithopter puts you under a whole ton of pressure. And then with a Blink Moth back too, that's 9 points of damage. I think it's a 9. No, it's only 7, isn't it? Yeah, it's 7. Okay. Well, that's a little better, I guess. Welding jar, okay. Well, this is not that. Ugh. Kind of wish we had had that last turn, because then we would have saved the shock on the tomb. As is, we don't really save any damage. But I definitely want to deal with this Overseer, so let's get that out of the way, and we know they are down to just those two. Yeah, the card they drew is the Welding Jar. I'm not playing the Misty, even though I could potentially crack and get the second tomb, because if I draw another Blooming Marsh or Ink Moth, then I can play Crusader without popping this and potentially save that point of damage. Oh no, this Opal is actually very good. It lets them play Pest and activate Blink Moth this turn, so that's worth an extra 2 points of damage. So now they attack for 4 here. No, 3. I promise I'll get the math down. So this brings you to 11. So it's a 2-turn clock in the air, but I'm hoping that either they go for it and I go for racing me without and not offering a jump block, and I draw a big pump spell to finish them, or they don't go for it, and then that gives me some more turns to maybe find something. Like an Inkmoth Nexus would be very good. It would at least trade. I guess it would not be very good, but it would at least trade with something. So at this point, if they go for the full 7, and that. I can't really beat any 1 or 0 mana creature, because then they can have a chump blocker and put me on a 2-turn clock. Arcbound Ravager, does this kill me? So this is 4. And they have 1, 2, 3, 4 others. This is only 8, so it doesn't kill me, but I mean, they can just block the Crusader with Ravager and kill me the next turn. I guess they could like make the mistake of trying to like welding jar the Ravager, not realizing it's going to die to Infect. And I can draw Plague Stinger or Inkmoth Nexus or a removal spell. Glistener Elf is not going to do it though. That would have been a lot better early on to put them under some pressure to block. So now they're going to have to make a pretty significant mistake. Interesting. Well, they're going to need to sack one more in order to actually eat my Crusader. Looks like they're just letting it soak it up, but that does take the -1/+1 counters and +1/+1 counters cancel each other, so the Ravager goes back down to 1. But they do still have a window here to sack a creature, to sack an artifact. But that would actually be really good if they sacked any of the flyers, because I have a blocker on the ground. Okay. Now they have 2, 3, 4. They still have 6 though. If they sack the Ravager. Once they went to 3, I'm not sure what was the best way to try to induce a mistake for my opponent, because I didn't really expect them to do something like this. And it looks like they should know that the Ravager is not going to die, because my creature has already dealt damage, but even if they do sacrifice it, they just get to put 2 counters on something, and that's exactly 6. Unfortunately. So I should be dead here, but stranger things have happened. Yeah, they are attacking all out. Block the thing I need to block. Now, if they, for some reason, like don't sacrifice Ravager and just put me to 2, I can drop Become Immense and kill them in one shot. But they sacrifice it. They made a very strange play here that I don't think was particularly good. And, but still deal me exactly enough damage. If I'd had that Blooming Marsh a turn earlier and saved those 2 points, I would have had some outs. But, yeah, that is just not a hand that I want in that matchup. I'm going to morph into a much more disruptive deck here. I have 4 artifact destruction spells, 2 other removal spells, and 2 copies of Liliana. Gonna get these poopy Thoughtseizes out of here. And what else do I want to get out? My opponent is kind of light on interaction, and so it's possible I want to cut some of my like vines or something. And their major piece of interaction, Galvanic Blast, does not deal with Phyrexian Crusader, so that's a good sign. This should be a difficult card for them to answer. I guess they have Etch Champion. That one helps a lot. I was thinking about cutting Mutagenic Growth, but that card might be important in combat. Am I going to get into a lot of combat scenarios in the post-board games when I bring in all this removal? Now that I have 10 removal spells, yeah, combat seems less important. So let's just bring out like my most explosive card in Mutagenic Growth when I'm trying to play a much less explosive game. And yes, I would like to play first. And a 5-lander with Inkmoth, Noble of Vines. That does not seem good enough. I need to draw another pump spell to kill them. They have plenty of blockers for Inkmoth. Their own Inkmoths are great blockers because it'll trade regardless of any pump spells. And I have no interaction if they have a fast hand. So I'll send that one back. This hand's a little bit better. I'm a little worried about just dying to a removal spell, but I mean, we're playing Infect, so I do not want this land. I'll bottom that and just start on Overgrown Tomb. I was thinking about starting on Fetch because I want to draw another Black Source anyway, but once I bottom a land, I just don't really want to shuffle that back in when I fetch. And I think that's, of all the tiny variables I'm considering in that decision, I think that's the biggest. Yeah, our opponent has Inkmoth Vault Scourge, so this is a problem. Inkmoth is definitely a big problem. It's just such a good blocker. It's one of the reasons Blighted Agent is so important out of the blue-green deck. And wow, did we get a downgrade? My Decays don't touch it. My Lilianas don't touch it. So I really need to find a Claim or a Dissenter's Deliverance or Fatal Push. So a 6-outer. If they tap out this turn, which they probably do to develop, then I get in one attack with Rancor on, and then hopefully set up a Become Immense turn with a removal spell. Yeah, Ravager, sure. Okay, okay, Vault Scourge is still a problem. I don't get to really attack. Yeah, I just have to play Glistener Elf and pass. Memnite, that's fine. Less fine. This is a card, yeah, that lets them apply sufficient pressure while leaving back both Vault Scourges, and that's the problem here. So like a single removal spell doesn't do it, and things that just only get worse. Whereas if this Plague Stinger was Blighted Agent, I would have Rancored it last turn, gotten in for 3, probably made a block with my Glistener Elf, and then Become Immense on my turn and been fine. And just hope that they don't have a Galblast or a Counterspell or something, which it looks like they might not have. I'm thinking about whether or not I want to block. I assume they sacrifice a creature. Yeah, I'd probably block. Because I need to buy time to draw a bunch of things, and these creatures are going to trade anyway. So I might as well trade while saving some life. And getting cards in my graveyard is valuable for Become Immense. Okay, imagine they sack Memnite. Seeing as I'm throwing away my ground attacker. I would love for them to just sack a Vault Scourge. But, you know, something tells me that's not going to happen. I guess with Rancor, maybe if I can find some other big pump spell, maybe I just trample over. Is that the idea? Yeah, I think I should have Rancored the Plague Stinger last turn. Forgot about trample. Ooh, okay. Are they just gonna make one of their Vault Scourges bigger to make blocking easier? Okay, that's fine. Let's crack this fetch. Otherwise, is not doing anything. Another land. Nah, Now I probably can just hold the Rancor because I don't want them to know about it. Currently, I can put a third card in my graveyard. This costs 3. This costs 1. I have 1 left over, so even if I draw a 2-mana pump spell like Vines of Vastwood, I'll be able to cast it all. Because any spell makes Become Immense 1 cheaper. And that's still 12 poison. Unfortunately, they now have 3 toughness back. And another Become Immense. That's 12, I guess 11 mana because 1 feeds the other. And I'll have 3 cards in the graveyard, so that'll be 8 mana, and I only have 5. So even fetch land to Become Immense won't be good enough. I mean, I guess I'll just Rancor that. No, I can Rancor it next turn if I want to. Maybe I need like multiple turns here. I think I have 2 more turns of my own. Maybe I'm wrong. So there might be a turn where they're going to attack in the air. Oh, but now the Ink Moth is a problem. Yeah, I think I needed to attack last turn. I think I needed to go Rancor attack, have them block it with 1 thing at least, and Become Immense, get my, say they block with the 1/1, and I get 8 in, and I have a 3-power thing. Now they can block 3 of it, so I just need a pump spell, really. Whereas now I need to do it all in 1 shot because of the Ink Moth. Yeah, I screwed this up. I do still have 2 turns, but then now I need to get to 13, which is a lot harder when I'm at, I guess I only need a 4, I need a +4, and for them not to have a piece of interaction, which it feels like they do if they left up mana. I know they want to leave up 2 for Ink Moth, but they have 1 unused mana here and 2 cards in their hand. Kind of seems like they would have been able to cast something, but maybe not. Another Plague Stinger. That's interesting. So now I'll Rancor this. If it dies to a Gallblast, oh, it didn't, so that's good. That's mush. And go for the Become Immense now. So I keep the second creature. Let's 7 them. And now they're like sort of incentivized to leave both other things back. But they just move the plating over to this Memnite and attack. They have Dismember. Oh, geez, I didn't realize that they have this. Okay, well, that didn't go well. Yeah, the instant speed move plating. I missed that part. Now I'm pretty dead. I think I needed to make the move actually on the prior turn. It still would have been tough. Am I just dead now? They have 2, 4, 6 artifacts and 2 power. Oh, sure. Now I just have Etch Champion. I probably need to make the move a turn earlier and hope to draw a pump spell on the other turn. The instant speed move plating was a beating. Yeah, they get an attack in for 8 here, and then I just can't deal with the Etch Champion or the cranial plating. Sure. Man, that might have actually bought me a turn if they didn't have the Etch Champion. As is, I am very dead. I ended up not... I wouldn't have drawn the other pump spell I needed, but I would have had just a much better chance of winning that game if I'd gone for it the turn before. When they just had the 2/1/1 Vault Scourges, or I guess the 2/2 and the 1/1. They might only block with one of them, but at least get to take one of those off the battlefield, deal them a large chunk of infect damage, leave my creature on the board, and have this trampling thing that they have to worry about. And it probably would have forced them to be a little bit more conservative, and maybe would have bought me another turn. And who knows, like that, maybe the Dissenter's Deliverance would have been like an actual kill against the other two blockers. Because if I present 9 and they take, let's say they block with all 3 toughness, they take 6, then the other Plague Stinger is a 4th point, and the Deliverance kills the other blocker, the Inkmoth Nexus, and that's lethal. And if they just soak up 2 of it, I think the Deliverance might have been lethal if I just gotten in on that turn. They might have played it more aggressively and killed me then before I drew the Deliverance, because they would have realized that they were dead to most pump spells, even though I didn't have one. But yeah, I mean, you never know. Yeah, that was a weakly played game on my part, but an interesting one that shows you sort of how Infect goes. Like, sometimes you need to just get in the Infect when you can, because that puts your opponent into an awkward spot as to how to use their removal, and it forces them to slow down. And that slowdown gives you a lot more draws, whereas I tried to play it slower, and that let them set up and just keep setting up the fortress to the point where I could never get a profitable exchange with the cards I had. So yeah, that was just a mistake on my part, but hopefully you learn from my mistakes. That's sort of the idea that goes on here. Not a matchup where they switched from blue-green to black-green is advantageous. They have a lot of blockers for Phyrexian Crusader and take advantage of your lack of speed and of your lack of Blighted Agent. So that is definitely one matchup where you get a little bit weaker, although the sideboard there you saw is quite good. Just didn't see the sideboard cards in the second game. Anyway, hope you enjoyed watching that one, and you can come back and see me on Friday. Bye.